Good afternoon. In this video, we're going to learn how to animate the end of arm tooling for simulation purposes. And the way that we're going to do this one is via a couple different CAD files. So we have a CAD file that is for open state and then a CAD file for a closed state. And we're going to be jumping between the two, like so. So let's set this end of arm tooling up. I'm going to be using U-tool number 2. So let's right click, and we're going to go end of arm tooling number 2 properties. We're going to go to general, and we're going to find the CAD file for this. We're going to go to grippers, and inside grippers, you're going to find 4 different states of this main gripper. So we have the fully opened, then we have the semi-closed, semi-closed, and then fully closed. So to start off, we're going to have the fully opened version, okay? And we're going to hit apply, and we're going to see it pop up, and it's going to be a very big device, so we're going to size this down. So I usually set this to be about 50% of what the actual size is. Seems to be a good size. And then we're also going to rotate this. So the first rotation we're going to do is the W. Let's go 90. And you can see it's upside down, so now we just have to go -90 to go the opposite way. And I also want this motor to be forward, so I'm going to rotate this along the R direction as well, and 90 seems to be the correct version as well. So now we have this in place, we have it to size. Now let's set up the U-tool. Edit U-tool, and right now the U-tool is at the faceplate. I'm going to drag this down to be where I want it to be, which is the top of the box and kind of the top of this gripper area. So I'm going to go front view here so I can get this down, and I'm going to come down probably right around here is going to be good, and I can modify this afterwards if I need to. I'm going to check this triad, and right now it's 396, so I'm going to just round it to 400 and see where that's at. So 400 seems good, so I did edit U-tool and make sure now the rotation is good. So right now it has the Y to the left, X is forward, which is good, but Z is down. So I'm going to actually rotate this around 180 degrees so that the Z is upright, Y is to the right, and X is forward, much like the triad on the actual robot itself, world mode. So we want to make sure the rotation is correct. So I went 180 degrees, and now we are good on that. So now we need to tell the computer that we want to have a different CAD file for the closed state. So this is the open state, we need the closed state now. So I'm going to go to the simulation tab, and we're going to go down to where it says gripper settings. Right now it says static tool, switch it to clamp, material handling clamp. And here's the actuated CAD file. Let's go back to the CAD file, and we're going to find the grippers again. And here's where you get to pick how big is the box that you're going to pick up. So if it's tiny, then you pick this one. If it's semi-small, you can pick this one. Or if it's kind of medium-sized, we pick this one. So I'm going to pick this one, just kind of show that there's going to be a difference between these two. So this is going to be the closed state. So now if I hit open, here's the open. And if I hit close, there's close. So open and close state. And how this is actually actuated is in the simulation program when we pick and place a part. So let's hit OK. And I have this in the open and close state. If you don't have that before you hit OK, you can just open and close it by this button right here where it says open and close hand. So open and close. So I'm going to close this, and we get an actual measurement between these two parts so I can make a box that will fit exactly in here. So I'm going to go measurement, and then I'm going to go from outside face to outside face, and we don't have to really worry about the other side. So this is 214.9, so we'll just round it to 215. So we'll make a square 215 by 215 for our part. So let's just go into the part. So we're going to go cell, add part, and we're going to make a box, and the size is going to be 215, 215, and make it a square box. Part 1 is good. We'll just leave this physical characteristics as 10 kilograms as well. Hit OK. And now we have our box. Let's add our box to our end of arm tooling. So double click the end of arm tooling, and then we're going to go to parts, click part 1, apply. And because everything is set up and the triad is the correct direction in the first place, you shouldn't have to move the box at all. So it should be perfectly in between those jaws. So when I close this, notice how as soon as I release, it's gone. Open, close, open, close. So when it's closed, it knows that it pops in there. Make sure visible at runtime is good. Hit OK. And then I'm going to just set up a scenario of a pick and place, just kind of show what this looks like when we run this. So I'm going to have two tables here. One's going to be a pickup, one's going to be a place. So I'm just double click and we'll run through this really quickly because this is more for the placement, opening and close of the actual part rather than setting up of an actual cell. So I have a pick and place scenario. So now I'm going to program the two simulation programs, one for a pickup, one for a drop off. So we pick up from this table here, drop off from this table here. So I'm going to go to the teach, add simulation program, and we call this pickup. And we're going to add instructions where we're going to pick up, and we're going to pick up the part 1 from table 1.7 with our part, which is this one right here. And then I'm also going to give a little wait. So I'm going to wait a half of a second after that. Close that out. And let's create another one. So let's go teach, add simulation program. This is going to be my drop off. And this one we're going to drop. And we're going to drop our part 1 onto table 171 and with our end of arm tooling. And then I'm also going to have a little wait as well to allow that jaw to completely open before we move out of the place. So now that those two simulation programs are good, let's create a program to run these two. Alright, so I have two pickups, and I am just jumping as a position register 3, which is a tool offset that I have set up. So I just go into position registers, here's my tool, and it's basically just 300 millimeters from the actual part. So it's just an offset in the Z direction of 300 millimeters. So when we go back to that program, I'm going to run this, and you'll be able to see the simulation of the gripper going in and out. Forgot to turn off this one, so I'm going to stop this. So this one should be not visible at runtime. And let's run this again, and everything should be good. You can change the times, but again, the point of this video is the opening and closing of the jaw with two different CAD files. So if you are creating your own end of arm tooling and you don't want to go through the process of animating it, moving in and out, you can easily just make two different states in the CAD file and save it as two different files, and then you can animate the opening and closing or whatever it needs to be in Roboguide very, very quickly. And that is animating via two different CAD files.